Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means? It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop early holiday deals now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. If you are watching this video, I probably look like a fucking abominable snowman next to you because I'm covered in like white pillows and blankets, and you just you're just
and I'm
petite
usually
in the
cold,
corner.
or is it because you have on a dress and you don't want everybody to see your goodies?
My goodies, my goodies. And
you
if you're
gotta keep them
listening,
in the jar. That's how that song goes.
Oh, I thought you just referred to my vagina as a jar. And it reminded me of the time that I said I had a video of me like trying on like cheap bathing suits, which got picked up on like dirty Reddit real fast. And I was like, I should do another one. It was very flattering. I was like, so do you mute it if you're going to masturbate? Because I'm like talking and I'm making a lot of funny jokes being like, my vagina's hairy. I'm like, you muted it, right? Like everyone's being like fapping. I'm like, without the sound. But one of the things that it's a wet one. One of the things that I like, the realization that I had in that where I was like, oh wow, there's like so much room in this bathing suit bottom. It's like a pocket. And I was like, I guess a body's just like a giant pocket. I was like, what? Yeah. You can put things in your body. You're a pocket.
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah. I was fully sober, not high at all when I said that too.
Oh my gosh.
Not even kidding.
Okay, I could see that happening though.
Yeah. Body is just isn't a body just
pocket.
a giant pocket? Gross. Well, guys, our guest today is the one, the only Muslims.
Hello. It's May. It's gonna be May.
Oh, I was like, that's not your name. Melisa.
No.
Does anyone pronounce your name weird because you only have one S in it?
No. But like if the only person that pronounced it different
Kendall.
No, was my
That's a good guess,
Spanish
though.
teacher one time. She called me Melisa, which is what it is
Melisa?
because that's what it is in Spanish.
Oh.
And it's spelt that way. It's just an accent over the E.
Mm.
So, like, yeah.
Okay. One of my
That's
best friend's
only-
names is almost that. It's Marilisa.
Hmm.
I think it's a made up name. I don't know. I should ask her. I feel like no
It's
one's
like
name.
Mary and Lisa put together.
Yeah. But it's like
It's-
Mara.
Yeah,
Marilisa.
it seems very southern.
Very hippy dippy. Granola crunchy crunch.
Gotcha.
I doubt she even fucking knows I have a podcast. Misa, whatever, it's cool. So guys, yeah, welcome back to the podcast. I'm stoked for this one. Because I actually, not that I don't listen to our podcast, but I don't listen to all of our podcasts because I was there.
There's
I
no
lived
reason
it.
for you to.
Yeah. Unless someone's like, oh my God, this one was so funny. Or if
Yeah.
someone like messages me on Instagram and I want to respond, they're like, oh, I really related to this. Or like, can you help me with this or whatever? I ended up accidentally watching this entire fucking episode because I wanted to get to the part where the last one that we did, because I wanted to get to the necking part.
Yeah.
And we're so funny.
We are so funny. And there's so much that got cut out of that we put it in
the
our bonus
ep.
episode. Did you see somebody messaged us on in the Don't Blame Me Instagram? Hold on.
Did they try necking?
No.
Oh.
But they said something really funny.
I was watching our own fucking pod. So I watched it,
it was
on
funny.
YouTube.
And that's why I sent you like a little clip of us like that I cut out too. But it's even just like watching it on mute is funny.
I was watching it at the gym on my bike, and it's like so funny because I'm watching myself, and everyone in the gym can see that like this bitch is looking at a video of herself, and I was like laughing out loud.
It was so
is
funny.
So funny. So hopefully we can live up to that episode, and if not, who cares, guys? Just go back and listen to that one, and please listen to the bonus content.
Yeah. So somebody, you'll only get this if you listen to the bonus
and
content.
it's like the end.
Yeah.
So
it says the snake story should have come with a warning. I'm scarred for life. Yuck.
we got there.
It was talking about weird. I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't seen the bonus.
Did someone message us about putting something in their vagina?
No. I'm gonna cut this, but cut the portion out, but left the snake in the bonus episode.
Fuck yes. Guys, wow. Not that I'm like telling you guys to like not listen to this or watch this episode and go back and watch that. Just know if you are you excited because of that episode, just know we're gonna live up to it. We're gonna try our best. We're gonna
get there. Also, I was on cold medicine, so I feel like
oh my god, yeah. And then what did you said something that like was just like you said one word early on in the podcast. I go, "Well, you sick?" Like family or something. I was like, "Yeah, me and my family."
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. If you guys are new here, hi, welcome. What have you been doing?
Yeah,
what's your name?
I'm glad you're here.
I'm so glad you're here. I also like want to just like have like, you know how like when you're out of town you can have an email message that is like, hi, I'm away here. I want if anyone fucking DMs me or like comments something or says anything where it's like, I didn't know blank about you, just be like, hi, you're receiving this message because clearly you don't listen to my fucking podcast. Please go listen to it.
Yeah,
like,
but we did grow.
Wow, guys, that's a big army. What are we gonna do? What do we do? Take over the world? We have to plot.
Yeah, we're plotting.
What are we gonna plot? Oh, I mean, we are plotting.
We do have some good things that are coming soon.
We do.
First people that'll learn about it will be our bonus people.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, bitches will.
Yeah. All right. Ready to get in the
I'm hella ready.
Hi. I'm a big fan of your podcast. Just want to start that off. And I am in a pickle here. I'm 26 years old, and I just need some advice on dealing with my boyfriend's brother who keeps nitpicking me. Typically, you would think like your spouse or your boyfriend would be nitpicking you, but I have the issue of his brother nitpicking me. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years. We love each other. You know, I potentially see myself, you know, marrying him. And, you know, I really want to get along with his family, but his brother just always nitpicks everything I do. Like, it's just really, like, things that are irrelevant, and I don't understand why he does it. I haven't confronted him, and I've told my boyfriend about it, and, you know, my boyfriend just tells me that's how he is. Like, he does it to me all the time, but he stopped. Like, you just have to, like, you know, confront him, make him feel dumb about it, and I don't want to do that because I don't want it to be awkward between me and his brother because, you know, I love him and his family and I don't want it to be weird. So I just don't know how to confront him about it without being rude. And I guess he kind of has like an OCD problem. And I was reading into it, you know, people say that like someone who's like really like OCD, they like to control things. So I just don't know how to handle this with him without being too harsh. Please help me. Let me know what to do. Thank you. Bye.
My brother-in-law is the same way.
Yeah.
But that's just like once we became closer, that was his way of showing that we were family.
Yeah. It's like in like a.
It wasn't like in a bad way. He just like that's just like how he talks. And so like he used to be like on his best behavior around me. And then like once he was like in love with my sister and comfortable, it was like now we're family, so I'm gonna be.
What kind of nitpicky things?
It's like he like, for example, when I went home, he was like, this was like 2 years ago, he was like, your thighs have got really big. And he said it in a way that like wasn't like
you
mean.
know he's not trying to hurt
he
your
wasn't
feelings.
Mean, but I was like, yeah, I know I put on a couple pounds, but it was like, and then he was like, and then he changed, he was like, it actually looks good on you.
Yeah,
but like he does like things like that, but I can understand if
it's not like a reciprocated relationship.
Yeah, it's not reciprocated, because after that I was like, your stomach got pretty big too.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I was gonna say, is in the sense of like some people just don't have as much of a filter. And as somebody who has, as I've been, therapists have told me I have OCD tendencies, in the sense that like when I get really anxious or very depressed, like I've got massive control issues, but like that's how I cope with things. And so I am incredibly, I have, if you're listening to the podcast, I don't have a filter. Like I think about what I say, like as much as I possibly can, but especially when it's people that I'm comfortable with and that I love and that know me, like, and I don't think that I need to like have that like live TV, like 5-second delay. I will just kind of like say things or do things. And I think that I'm being helpful and I'm not always. And that's one of the things I'm learning in therapy is the fact that I'm like, oh, it's raining. And I'm like, oh, Mats, you should put your, like, it's raining, put your hood up. And he's like, oh no, I'm good. I'm like, okay, I'll do it for you. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, that shouldn't, like, that's like a control thing, but it doesn't come from a bad place. So I think the reason why that your boyfriend is kind of reacting in a nonchalant way is because I think he, like this, to bring it home to like the name of my book, you're not special in the way he's treating you. Like this isn't like there is no issue or problem here from his brother. He knows he doesn't need to be worried. That's why he's not like intervening or saying something. I think you're concerned about making it awkward or hurting his feelings, which I understand because your boyfriend's saying like, oh, just like make him feel stupid about it. There is kind of a safety net because that's his brother and like their family. So you can kind of push back a little bit more. So I would be really honest with your boyfriend and be like, I really like want to do that. I just feel like a little uncomfortable because he's not my brother and I don't want that to come across weird. And even if like, if you want him to talk to his brother or being like, can you give me some like tips to this? And I'd also say like, know that it doesn't come from like a bad place. Tune out as much of it as you can. And once you start to realize, like, pay attention. Oh, look, he's doing it to like his mom. He's doing it to his dad. He's doing it to his brother. He's doing it to all of these people. And
that's how he communicates.
Yeah. And some people just like, it's just tends to be a little bit more straightforward and blunt. And if there's any teasing aspect of it, like give him some shit back. Like, I think like you've already got the go ahead from your boyfriend that like he did that and that's fine. And I think if you want to like gauge with your boyfriend being like, so like, what should I say? Like in that sort of way. And at the end of the day, it's about he's not intentionally hurting your feelings and your feelings are getting hurt. It's not your job to protect his feelings for telling him that he's hurting your feelings. So at the end of it, you need to say that. Like I've definitely been at the other side of it where like people have been like, hey, like that was just like, that was like a little too straightforward. And I feel like a fucking idiot because that's not my goal. And I think I'm being helpful. And I also like when people are like that to me, like that's what I enjoy. And we can get kind of caught up in the idea of being like treating other people how you want to be treated. And I'm like, oh wait, not everyone wants to be treated like me. And we don't have that same kind of like back and forth repertoire. So even if he feels a little, I don't think he's going to get angry at you. I think if anything, he'll feel a little bit embarrassed. And that's not the end of the world. And I think there's no way in hell he wants to hurt your feelings. And I'm sure he'd feel really sad if you just kept letting it go on. He's like, so I've been hurting your feelings for like 5 years and you never told me. Yeah.
So I'm thinking like you guys have been together for 5 years. So he probably sees you as like his sister.
And it's just coming from, I'm sure it's coming from a good place. And especially because he does it to his brother. Like the fact that he's doing it to you too. I was talking to Aislinn about this where every guy that she's like ever had like a small crush on or like anything like that, I've just given so much shit and like kind of like lightweight hated. And I was like, whoa, what happens like if like I like hate the guy or like I like constantly give shit to the guy you date? And she goes, if you don't give him shit, I'm going to be like, oh, this is bad. Like this is super bad. Like this is like not good because like it's that comfortability that you feel like you can kind of like that they're gonna stick around. They're not gonna like run away. Like you're a steady constant. Yeah. So
yeah, if you feel comfortable, give shit back. If you don't, have a conversation with
them. Yeah. And I think definitely before you do any of that, talk to your boyfriend about it and let him know that it hurts your feelings because I don't want you to feel like your whole thing. She
did tell her boyfriend,
but she doesn't want to make it. When you kept stressing, I don't want to make anything awkward. I don't want to get anyone to get angry about me. I don't want you. 2019, the year of not downplaying how we feel. So make sure you're being pretty like upfront and honest with your boyfriend because he's going to be able to give you like the best like actual like in real time advice on that. And and if there are certain things that you can, maybe also just start to notice how he treats other people. And but I think you should. I personally think you should give him shit back. If you don't feel comfortable, tell him because it's clearly hurting your feelings, which is valid as fuck and not a fair way to live, especially when someone's unintentional, like, because that's also, I feel awkward if I know someone's like not meaning to hurt my feelings, but they are, and you gotta say it because they're never gonna fucking stop.
And especially if you're probably gonna marry this guy too, then it's gonna get even more worse. I would say, if you don't say something now.
It's gonna build up resentment, and it's gonna start being like your feelings get hurt because of the nitpicking, because he nitpicks, and it might not even necessarily be what he's saying. Like, it's just the fact that like he just keeps doing this thing that like you have association with hurt feelings, which is totally fair.
Hi, Megan. I am 23, and for the past month, I just started dating someone new who is literally one of the best things I feel like that's ever happened to me. I have been out of relationships for like 3 years prior, so I feel like I found a good egg. But the problem is that he is a felon. Basically, this happened like a year before I ever came into the picture. And when going through kind of some mental health stuff, his family had called the police on him, and essentially he punched a cop. And obviously that's not ideal, and he has a lot of regret, and he's like in a really good headspace now, and like in therapy and on antidepressants, and is literally one of the sweetest people that I've ever met. But I guess my problem is that he is a felon, so currently he is out of work and looking for a job, and obviously that's super difficult. As well as I love to travel, and now I'm dating someone who currently can't leave the state while on probation for this crime a year ago. So I guess I'm just looking for advice on how to like navigate this until the fall when he is off probation, or if you have tips for like career paths that don't mind someone who is a felon. I'm really happy in my career, and I can tell that even though he like loves me and supports me, it is difficult to see me at 23 owning a house and loving my career when he's trying to figure things out. So yeah, I would love some advice on dating a felon.
Will you buy me a house? I'm jealous of your life. Okay. First thing I would say, not that I get worried when people like call in and say like, oh, I'm dating a felon. As a huge advocate for mental health, like I listened to a great episode of My Favorite Murder and about I think it's called Burn Day was the episode, or Burn something. Burn Day is the episode, but they talked about how there was just this one murder about this guy who was had like a psychotic break, and he became aware of it and ended up committing this like terrible crime. And it's because like then they tested his brain, and there was just all of these issues, the chemical imbalances and all of that sort of stuff. So I think it's fantastic that he's in therapy. It's great that he's on antidepressants and like all of that. Like we all go through, I think everybody deals with some sort of like mental health issue at some point in their life. And we all go through really bad points of that, and it bubbles up and it ends up in a circumstance. And for some people, it might be abusing drugs, it might be self-harm, it might be committing a crime or anything like that. And it's incredibly important, and I think great that he's getting the help and he's an active participant in that, and that you're accepting of that and understanding and knowing all of that. So I think that's great. I think for the travel thing, you got to swallow that and be like, you can't travel until then. And I think also
go on trips with your friends, like a girls trip,
and like go on domestic, like go on, like if you can go on a weekend getaway, if you're like allowed or anything like that. As hard as it is for you, it's so hard for him. Also because of like, there's so much shame regarding mental health in general. There's so much shame regarding depression in men, and like being upfront with your emotions and toxic masculinity and all of that. So he's, I'm sure, dealing with a lot. So anything that you feel like you're missing out on, like by proxy, he also feels that too. So any like empathy that you can have for him, because this wasn't this wasn't like a lucid, clear decision that in like event that he was an active participant in. And like his mind decided to be like, hey, fuck you. Like I'm gonna tap out and like not do the thing that I'm supposed to do. And I'm not going to produce these chemicals that make everything good. I'm going to fuck around. And he was like the victim of that. So I think the more empathy you can have for him, the best. And you sound like you've got a great amount. So I think for like trips and stuff, go with your friends. And when it comes to like him being like envious and jealous of where your life is at, I have 100% been there with guys that I've dated. I have always dated guys that are older than me. And I was financially independent and dropped out of school at 19. Like I dated a bunch of guys who like got fired, didn't have jobs, were unemployed, or like could like lived with 7 roommates. And there I was in like my like really not like even any of the first apartments I had. Like I always lived alone. I always had 2 bedrooms. Like I drove a nice car. Like I had like nice things. And it can be, and we've talked on the podcast before, like it can be like a point of contention of wanting something that someone else has. I don't think you should validate those emotions by apologizing for everything that you have at all, because everyone takes their own journey to where they get. Yeah. And being jealous and envious is a normal feeling, but I just don't think you should validate it by by apologizing and like saying that you are sorry for what you have. You can be sorry for the instance that he got himself in, and just motivating him and being like, you know what? It's only like, we've only got this much time left. Like we're going to plan a fucking amazing trip in the fall to celebrate. Like plan for those things. And
I wouldn't even say like feeling sorry for the situation that he was in. I would say having empathy for it, but you don't have to feel sorry for it.
Like it's like, and it's
something that happened.
It's something that happened. And it's again, like we're all like, you're young. We're all like, we don't know what's going to happen in our lives and like what we're going to have to like go through and face. Like there are so many times in my life that I've been like, cool, got through the trenches. Now I'm great. I'm like, cool, fell back down the rabbit hole. Got to climb back out again. Like shit. Like we can never predict those sorts of things that happen. And some people get like a bad hand, like over and over and over again. And then it's like coasting, but like it's comparing yourself. It's never going to, it's never going to benefit anyone. But I think planning a trip would be a great source of energy for you guys. And also because, and even if you want to travel with your friends for sure, but maybe if it becomes like you know what, we're going to plan for this really cool trip. We're going to save money. I know he's unemployed now. We'll get to that. But like, we're going to make this be something that's like really fun and really cool, and something that he's like an active participant in planning with me. So with you, so it doesn't feel like he's going because you want to travel and he can't contribute to any of it. Job wise.
So I looked up, there's a website called helpforfelons.org.
I was just going to be like, there's a bunch of websites. I know that.
Yeah. And so there's jobs that felons can have: welding, electricians, which electricians make like a lot of money. Yeah. I had one come to my house just to switch out the the light switch thing. They were there for all of 2 minutes and it was $150.
Dang.
Yeah, like that's a good job. Other type of technician jobs, carpenters, oil field jobs,
working in kitchens and restaurants,
wind energy technicians, commercial truck drivers. Like there's a whole list, and I'll put this link in the show notes too.
And what I'd say about that too is it's not even just places that, these people, they will employ felons and all of that. They regularly do. So chances are, if he has like any sort of like shame or embarrassment with it, he's going to be in a meeting with someone who's interviewing him who has hired hundreds of other people in this situation.
They might be.
Exactly.
Like
and
former felons. Yeah.
Those are initiatives that focus on doing that. And it's rehabilitation programs. It's the same thing that like jobs that hire, how there are organizations that focus on companies bettering themselves to hire more veterans. They also have those same initiatives for felons and people who are like newly released from jail and all of those different things. So those are people who are like supportive and pioneers of assimilating those people back into like society, into a way that they feel productive and it's like a safe space. It's not like you're the black sheep of that. So I think if you guys don't, I mean, I'm saying that like if you guys don't know a bunch of felons, but like if you didn't, there's a community of people who are also going through the same thing that he is, that I think would be actually really beneficial for him and very supportive in all of that. I think getting back into a routine and a job and all of that sort of stuff, it'll help him realize like how important he is and how valuable he is, and how his life is not defined by that like one moment in which like the chemicals in his brain were not regulated and like the decisions happened that he didn't really have any control over. Okay, guys, on to the next one.
Hi, I'm 19 and I have kind of a crazy, I don't know, it's not crazy. It's just I'm very paranoid. I'm terrified that anytime I do anything sexual, like with my boyfriend, that I'm going to end up pregnant. And I don't even mean like have sex. I mean like if like we're doing oral or like dry humping, literally anything. Like I'm terrified that I'm going to get pregnant. Like somehow his semen is going to come out of his, his penis and like come into contact with my vagina. And in some weird freak coincidence, I'm going to get pregnant and I'm going to be like, with child. And then my life is just going to be an absolute shit show because that is awful. I'm 19. That's not happening right now for me. No, thank you. So I want to know, like, how to err on the side of caution and, like, be safe and have, like, a healthy amount of worry about that kind of thing so that, we stay safe and stuff like that. But also, how do I stop being so paranoid? Because there's, like, a difference between being cautious and being paranoid. And I just feel like every time we do something like that, I'm freaking out until I get my period, or if my period's a couple days late, then I'm like still freaking out. And anyway, I don't know. If this made sense, I hope it did. Thank you so much if you end up answering this. I really appreciate it. I love the show and I love you. And bye. Thank you so much. Bye.
The truth is you can get pregnant.
Okay.
You can, but the possibilities are so low. You can give a hand job, and if there's cum on your hand and then you touch yourself, you could get pregnant from it.
If you are, in theory, 100% true. Have I definitely like gone into those wormholes of like wondering like, holy shit, am I fucking pregnant? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's what I'll say. First things first, you need to do some reading. I want you to do some reading. I'm giving you homework. I just want you to do some reading on people who try to get pregnant. I have friends who it was incredibly easy for them to get pregnant. I have friends who it was incredibly hard. They had unprotected sex every single fucking, like the entire time that they're ovulating. And like when you look into the reproductive aspects of it, of like your body is the most, this is when your body is fertile. This is when the egg is releasing. This is when the implantation is. There is like, I'm not telling anyone to have unprotected sex. There is a way to time your cycle where you can have unprotected sex and you will not get pregnant because your body is not always ready to have a fucking baby. It's like the door is locked and for a small window, the door is open being like, hey, if you want to come to the party, you're more than welcome to. But also like, I'm only going to keep the door open for a week and then I'm going to shut it.
Right.
Like so I think
there's apps to track when that window is.
Is that,
here's mine.
I have that app.
Yeah. Like, let's see.
Yeah. Let's look when, I switched my birth control time though. So I don't know when I'm ovulating anymore. But if you think about it in the sense that like if you watch like shows like Friends, like Monica and Chandler are trying to get pregnant, it's like, oh, you're ovulating and people are trying really hard to get pregnant. It's not as easy as we always think it is. In that way, I'm not trying to tell you like don't be stressed about it because I think I'm not worried about you having not being safe. Like you're like, how do I stay safe and not have an unhealthy mouth? I don't think you're ever going to get to the point where you're being unsafe because like you are very stressed about any of this. We have this idea, and as I'm getting, not that I'm getting older, but as I've gotten older, like I have been more aware of the fact that like you do so much in your early life of sexual history life to like not get pregnant that I have friends who struggle to get pregnant. I'm not trying to get pregnant. I'm not saying that, but I have friends who struggle to get pregnant, and their biggest thing is they were like, I tried so hard my entire life to not get pregnant that I didn't realize. So I think like first things first, if you don't
By
have
that, you're saying like taking birth control and then how you have to get off for years.
Yeah, and like all of that. But or being like I had friends who were off for well over a year and they were like doing everything right by the book, like having sex when they're all of those different things. And it took them a long time to get pregnant. And obviously
because all those hormones are still
and I even had friends who like have friends' parents who ended up having to do IVF and like all of these different things. So I think first and foremost, you should be on birth control, and if
that's your choice.
Yeah, if you want to go over all the protection things that you can choose to do or not do. Birth control, whether that's like an IUD, a patch, a ring, or a pill. He can wear a condom, any of that. I don't even.
You can wear a condom.
Exactly. And I think the thing that you should 100% do is go to a gynecologist and have a conversation with them and talk to them about it. They're going to be able to give you like settle any of your anxieties and then tell you like, if you want to be extra neurotic, this is how you can do it in a way that like isn't just making your life impossibly hard. Like, so
like, okay, you said dry humping. That one's pretty much impossible.
He's going to come in his pants.
Yeah. There's not going to be any, like all of it's going to get absorbed in his pants.
Yeah.
That one, no. If you're giving a hand job, don't touch yourself after. Go wash your hands. Oral. That's a lot of transfer, because it would be like going down on him. Then you'd have to. He comes.
He doesn't clean anything up.
He doesn't.
And then
yeah, like I don't know if you're
suddenly
thinking
gets
like
hard immediately.
If he kisses you. You guys kiss, and then
he
it gets on his
you.
mouth, and then he goes down on you. Like that's a lot.
Or even like the idea that like he's gonna have cum on his dick and then get hard again and then have sex with you. I think in general, if you see cum, clean it up. Like that should be like that first thing first. And I think like a healthy, like wanting to be safe. I think fear, I don't want to sound like an asshole, and I'm really sorry if I do. I think fear comes from just a lack of knowledge about a lot of stuff, and people get afraid of things that they don't know and the unknown. And as somebody, like I was terrified of the gynecologist, I was terrified of endometriosis, I was terrified of all of these things. The more that I learned about them, the less I was scared of my own body, and the more I was like prepared and into.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
And aware of things, and there's always going to be a worst case scenario. There's always going to be like a freak accident. There's always going to be someone's cousin's friend who got pregnant this way, and all
Scrubs.
of that. And like what is it? I never even watched it, but what's Jane the Virgin? Like,
that's a completely different thing.
But she gets like she goes for a regular thing and she gets inseminated.
Yeah.
Or is inseminated a word in itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you hear all of those things.
Yeah. On Scrubs, he like, they didn't really describe it, but they were like fooling around and like he came and they didn't actually have sex, it just got on her and she got pregnant.
I had a fear that I was pregnant because there's this thing called like implantation bleeding where when you get pregnant you can possibly bleed. And I had started my birth control and I hadn't started my birth control yet and I never spot and I started randomly spotting and I was like, holy fucking shit, am I pregnant? And then I was talking to my best friend Sydney and she was like, well, is there a chance you could be pregnant? And I was like, well, I mean, like if it was like this and this, and she was like, and it was literally one of those things of me being like, well, no one, sorry, Mott's babe, I'm gonna rat you out, we have sex. Like, he didn't come inside me, like, in that aspect of it. And Sydney, and I was like, so it would have, and I literally had to come up with like 6 whatever degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. But, well, it would have been this. And she literally goes, that happened in a movie once. And I was like a documentary or fucking fiction? And she doesn't respond. And then she goes, oh, fiction. I was like, not fucking helpful, bitch. Like, not fucking helpful. So I think like we tend to kind of, So I think the more you can educate yourself on it, I did a lot of like research, especially when figuring out if I was like birth control to help regulate my endometriosis and all of that. I did like a bunch of research on like the reproductive system and all of that. I also have a like very rational and valid fear that my endometriosis is going to make me infertile. So I did a lot of research about those things, and like as like scary as all of that stuff is, and to read it, like the stupid like knowledge is power thing, which is also like rich coming from me because I like went to gynecologist for the first time and like Melissa gave me shit on the podcast for like 2 years.
I did, but it happened, and like, I was excited when you finally went. And
the more that you learn about it, I think like the way you're describing the things that you're afraid of, like in a freak way that this could happen, I think once you're going to see statistics and numbers and like actual like doctor data driven information, it's going to kind of take away the whole, oh, but what if, when you're going to know, wow, that what if possibility is so incredibly small. And I am 100% pro-choice, and I am and by pro-choice, I mean, I am pro people making the choices that they want. I don't think anyone should make any choice that they don't want. I don't care what choice you make. The choice I might make might differ day to day if I was in that situation. Like, I don't even have a specific choice unless that situation happened to me, but I want to be able to choose. Know that regardless of like how you were brought up and like the belief system of everybody else around you too, I think educating yourself on that aspect of like if you want to get into like that what if and all of that, I think you need to know all of the options out there and really educate yourself and you don't have to pick a stance or pick a side or anything like that. But I think living in fear, I think, is also from a lot of the time women were taught to be feared of our own bodies, and we're supposed to be afraid of men, and we're supposed to be afraid of our bodies and like afraid, and they're gross and what we do and all of that stuff. And if you haven't had very open, honest conversations about your body, your reproductive health, sex in general with people in your life who are older than you, I think like it totally sucks when that happens, but you should take it upon yourself to do a lot of research because it's so empowering, and it's a very reassuring thing. Because also at 19 I was 100% like this. Like I was so afraid of getting pregnant, like terrified. Did I make a lot of stupid decisions that like definitely could have gotten me pregnant? 100%. My fear, what I'm saying is my fear didn't necessarily protect me from that. If I had been more educated, I think I would have made a lot of smarter decisions. But
yeah, and I'm going to put a link to this article from ZocDoc.
Love ZocDoc.
But it just says that sperm can live for 4 to 5 days in a warm, moist condition, such as the vagina. However, once dried sperm. Yes, you're correct. However, once dried, sperm will die within a matter of minutes. So that makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely thought I could get I was like so afraid of getting pregnant from a lot of certain things. And also don't give his sperm that much credit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's young viral sperm.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can fight through a lot of wars.
Yeah.
I did see a funny tweet though about whatever I just wish I could have a conversation with whatever sperm made it to me, being like, I'm the one that survived. I was like, fuck you, bitch. Look at all the mental illnesses I have and all the debt I'm in. You wanted this life? I was like, that's so funny. That's a good tweet. But you're going to be fine. You won't get pregnant. Just be safe and be smart. But you don't need to be paranoid, because also high anxiety sex is not fun sex. You know? Also, are you having penetrative sex? You know?
Maybe. I don't know. She talked a lot about dry humping
Me too.
and hand jobs.
Not me too.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So that's why
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Don't let cum near your vagina.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's near your vagina, wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Condom. But don't do 2 condoms. That doesn't make it work more. They will rip. They'll rub against each other and they will rip.
And then you could definitely get pregnant
100%.
after that. Spermicidal jelly too. It smells so bad.
No, Ace and I have talked about this. The only time jelly should be used is next to jam. I don't want spermicide jelly. I don't want meat jelly. I don't want any fucking word that in conjunction with jelly unless it's next to jam or jellies.
Some lubes are.
I don't want petroleum jelly. I'm
just saying, like KY has jelly. Like it says jelly in it.
But you call it what would you call it? KY gel or KY what?
I would just say KY.
There you go.
But I'm just saying it's still jelly.
Why do we need to I can see that it's gelatinous. Don't call it jelly. Like it's so fucking, it's also just weird because
what about
it's like
jelly beans.
That's fine. Also because I think it's fine because it's jelly something else. Do you know? It's not a description of it. It's like jelly beans. It's not like bean jelly. Like that's fucking gross. And also, like, it's also what happens, like, all the fucking time in Chopped when they're like, I'm going to sous vide some salmon and make a mint jelly. And I'm like, no.
It does sound disgusting.
Fucking like, no one wants, like, unless you're like, oh, I'll have, like, also, I don't even like call it jam. Like, I know they're different, but, like.
They are 2 different things.
Jam?
Jelly, preserves.
Oh, peanut butter and jelly's okay then. Because it's the fucking food. Yeah, I just don't like, no.
Okay.
I found a lot of pet peeves I have. Okay, guys, we're going to go on a quick break and we will be right back. Let's go on to the next call.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. And guess I almost knew my name, but you're going to bleep it out anyways. So what's the point? I actually, the most recent episode that was just released, I forget who's on it, but I actually, like, played my call. I was a girl who was sleeping with the guy who, like, he and his girlfriend were on a break, and you thought you were really mean and that I would hate you. And that could never happen because I love you and, like, literally, like, nothing you could ever say or do. Oh, okay. So I'm not sleeping with a guy who, like, is on a break with his girlfriend anymore. I have this, like, on and off friend with benefits, and I'm talking really fast because I feel like the machine is going to cut me off because I have a lot to say, but it's fine. And he's, like, not a good person. Like, for example, he'll get really mad if, like, I, like, don't feel like giving, like, we were on the way to his place, and, like, he was, like, giving me head, and I was, like, I'm eating, and he was, like, super upset about it. And then also, like, later that same night, like, or that same day, he was, like, he, like, slapped my ass, like, really hard, like, to the point where it, like, brought, like, tears to my eyes, and I was, like, can you, like, please not do that? Like, that hurt. And he's like, relax, like, chill, whatever. He got, like, super upset, and then, like, I was crying, and he was, like, super annoyed and being, like, you're, like, this is such a big turn off, like, it's not that serious. And I, like, tried to, like, pretend like I had an emergency, but he, like, saw right through it or whatever. And, like, he'll do this weird thing where he, like, demands news of me, and he, like, before he'll, like, sleep with me. It's weird. He's not a good person. That's the point. So I know, like, I shouldn't be sleeping with him, but, like, the sex is so good. And I know that's, like, not a good reason, but, like, I have a very, very, like, high sex drive. Like, I am that girl who, like, go, like, 10, 12, 15 rounds with you. Like, no exaggeration, like, no shit. Like, that is me. Like, I've got multiple vibrators. Like, I masturbate as much as I can in a college dorm with a roommate in my room. But, like, how do I, like, stop sleeping with him? Because he's a horrible person, but, like, the dick is amazing, and I'm definitely dickmatized. Thanks. Bye. Love you.
Melissa's going to cut out when you gave me really nice compliments, but I just want you to know it made me really happy. We got to talk. I don't want to therapize you and get all psychiatrist on you and all of that. I think the reason why you are so into the sex with him is because he is so fucking mean to you that it is not that I'm saying that's a turn on for you because you're aware that it's bad, but this is like a gaslighting manipulation sort of thing. So he's treating you like shit. And then when he's being intimate with you, it's like the lowest of lows then to the highest of highs. So you're associating the sex with being so great because in contrast to how he treats you, this is like the ultimate, I've been picked, I have his approval, he like that sort of aspect of it. They think there's a 100% a psychological thing here. And I say that because no matter how high your sex drive is at all, if someone treats you so terribly.
If the new Chicken Big Mac at McDonald's looks like a Big Mac, has 3 buns and sauce like a Big Mac, but has 2 chicken patties, then it's not a Big Mac.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
And makes you feel really, really shitty. Sex is so mental for women. And the fact that you are still able to get off and enjoy yourself when he treats you like that and out of sex, like sex aside, out of that situation, you can see that it's really bad. I think that if there wasn't some sort of like, I don't like that. I think there's a psychological reason why you're enjoying the sex. You shouldn't enjoy the sex with somebody who treats you that badly, who's a fuck buddy. Like, not going to talk about like abusive relationships and things that end up something that starts some way and ends up another way, and there are all these other emotional ties there. You don't have emotional ties with him. Like, he's a fuck buddy who treats you really, really badly, hitting you on the ass and not apologize. Like, this is verbal abuse. That's physical abuse.
That's physical abuse. If that's not what you want, if that's not something you're into, then no. And he shouldn't be annoyed about that.
No,
I'm annoyed.
I'm so glad that you're. Not that I'm glad he's a fuck buddy. I mean, obviously, I'm glad he's your fuck buddy and not your boyfriend. I'm also so glad that you are aware of like that you don't like these things. But like like that's abusive, and he's also gaslighting you. Like, he's treating you like shit, whether it's physically touching you or saying mean things to you and demanding sex from you. Again, that is abuse. Mm-hmm. He's doing that, and then your response is you're clearly and valid upset. And he's being like, why are you being so sensitive? You're being crazy. All of those things to then make you feel shitty and question your own sanity as someone who's been in relationships where I've been gaslit. Like, it is an incredibly manipulative and confusing thing. And especially when all you end up doing is pissing. And I'm saying this I'm not trying to like project your own experience. From my experience, when you're in a relationship with someone and everything you do seems to piss them off and everything you do is wrong, when they give you that approval and validation, and if that's through sex, that is the great, like, it makes everything worth it. And it should not, because it is not worth it. But that's how your mindset gets to be when someone treats you like shit. And that's the only thing you can expect from them. No matter what, they're annoyed. No matter what, you've done something wrong. No matter what, you're crying, he's yelling, you're apologizing, he's upset. Like, then when you get an approval from that person, like, it just fucks with you. Like, it fully fucks with your spectrum of what's normal emotion, like with emotions and everything like that. And I think this isn't about the sex. I think there's clearly some sort of other thing there. And I don't want to say like you've got like unresolved issues or anything like that, but like there's a reason, as my therapist says, she's like, there's a reason why we make decisions and put ourselves in positions. And that's either if we put ourselves in a position that we know we put ourselves in a position knowing that it is harming us. Usually it's because either we feel like we deserve it, or we are projecting from something that we've been in before, and we get ourselves in these situations. And people who have like fully dealt with whether it's trauma or have dealt with any sort of emotional issues don't put themselves in situations where they're going to be harmed and they know that it's going to happen. And so I think for you, if you want this to be like a fantastic sex positive thing, masturbate. Like, his dick is not like,
there's no dick so good that you have to put up with physical and mental abuse
at all. Like,
and it seems like just based on this call and another call that you made, the call you made before, and I know you called in before with another problem. You've said this many times, your picker's off. And I feel like you're 19 years old, you're in college. There's so many other guys that are out there. You don't have to keep settling for these shitty guys.
Well, you have to go out of your way to find this many shitty guys. Like, there's common denominators with the people that you have been involved with, and they're all people who, if you tell the story to somebody, they're going to be like, yeah, that's not going to end well. Mm-hmm. And that's a form and I don't want to like put any like names on it, but like that is it can be a form of self-harm. Picking the like people who you know and relationships that you know, whether that means that it's repeating something that you saw growing up, or if it's I mean, for me 100% like a self-esteem issue. That was like a huge thing for me. It's like I was dating these guys who treated me like shit because like I didn't consciously think I was completely unaware of it, but I consciously was like, I don't like myself. Like, I'm going to be with a guy who validates that really negative part of me. And any guy who was like overly romantic and really sweet. Like when Moss and I first started dating, he was like really nice to me. I was like, ew, gross, weird. And he's like, why is that weird? And I was like, it just like makes me uncomfortable when you say nice things. And he was like, that shouldn't make you uncomfortable. Like the idea that that's the anomaly, like that's the one that's very far off and different. And I think if it was about getting off, it wouldn't, there doesn't need to be a guy attached to it. Like vibrators for sure. If you want, like, that's great. But having a high sex drive is not also conducive to having multiple partners or having one partner in general. Like, I think if that's where you're at of being like, I need to like, I need what I need to get off. You don't need to involve other people in that, because you are putting yourself in situations that are dangerous. They're also mentally harmful, and I don't want you to put anyone like and the chance that like there's another, like in the previous call when you were hooking up with this guy who him and his girlfriend were on a break, like those are also, the girlfriend is an unwilling participant in your sexual endeavors. And I'm not, and you're not responsible for everybody else, but it's at this point where if it's about like satiating your sex drive, that's your responsibility. And it's not like, nothing is ever worse being physically or verbally abused. And it's also just not worth, it's not about involving these other people in it. Like that's not, getting off doesn't like constitute to that because of the fact that your picker's off, and it's not, and also, I don't know, when you say friends with benefits, are you guys friends at all? Because this sounds like a shitty guy. And I don't know if this picker and the situation of surrounding yourself and getting in situations with people that really are not good for you or healthy for you, and also can't give you like and treat you in the way that you should be treated. I don't know if that also applies to your friendships, but I would do like a massive look at all of that. And I say this like out of love, and because like it took me like, I mean, it's taken me like therapy, but also like a long time to realize that like the choices that I made in my life, and I was like, my picker was off, but also I was putting myself in these situations and all of that because I didn't let myself recognize that like I was unhappy with myself, and I was more comfortable with someone else being unhappy with me than me being unhappy with me. Because if I'm unhappy with me, that's all I have. That's the only person that I live with. That is me. And that is a much more daunting and much scary thought than having someone else vocalize and treat you in the way that you would treat yourself. Yeah. And it's an incredibly like dark and spirally thing to like think about, but I wish I had thought about that when I was younger. And I think I would have been in much healthier relationships, and my patterns with relationships that I was in, like 100%, I was definitely somebody who, I would pick fights. Like I would pick fights because like you'd want to get like, I didn't consciously want to get yelled at, but like there are these certain things, whether it's how you're raised and how you see other people display love and affection and things like that. But there's just definitely something else here. And you're in college, I would really take advantage of like the mental health department at your college. Say too, and have a very, like, you've been super honest and candid on the podcast. I think is great. And it also makes me really happy that, like, as tough love as we were the first time, you still want to call, like, back. And that makes me really happy because, like, I don't know. That's, like, I want to be able...
helping. But we want to... we're not professionals, so we want to point you in the right direction of the professionals that can help with this.
Yeah. It's hard when we think that we're making... I don't know. There's like this twofold of like making empowered decisions about like your body and your sexuality and things like that. And then also realizing that sometimes those decisions they're empowering as an idea, but they're not, sometimes the intention behind them that you're unconsciously doing isn't necessarily empowering. And it's a hard thing to figure out. It's taken me like a really long time, but I think the best thing that you can do is be really honest talking to a mental health counselor at your school, the same way you've been very honest with us, and have that conversation with them. And I think I think you're going to find that through talking to somebody and going through all of that, you're going to realize you're going to be able to change the patterns of how you make decisions,
right? And
you're going to be making better decisions, and you're going to realize like the desires that you have and the needs that you need to be met, you're going to be able to do a lot of that yourself. And like, you're not going to necessarily need someone else to fill specific, like your dick appointment. You don't necessarily like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
Hi, Megan. I am 20 years old, and I've been with my boyfriend for about 2 years. Our anniversary is next month. And there's been something kind of eating away at me for the last year, and I have thought about calling in about it, and I just get too nervous every time because I feel like I know what you're going to say. But so about a year ago, my boyfriend and I went to my old college that I transferred from to visit some of my friends and go out and party and whatever. And I got blackout drunk. It was like worse than I've ever been before. And I got up on this table, I started dancing with my friends, and all of a sudden, this random guy started smacking my ass. And I didn't notice because I was so drunk. And my boyfriend came over and pulled me down from the table and started yelling at me and saying he wanted to break up with me and like just kind of saying really terrible things. But he was also drunk, and we ended up getting in a really big fight about it. And like, it was one of the worst nights of my life, honestly. And since then, we've gotten past it, kind of, but at least once every couple months, he brings it up and says that it gives him nightmares and he has trust issues because of what happened. And I honestly didn't think that it was that big of a deal because I wasn't like trying to get any guys to touch me or anything. Like, it was literally just some random guy that came up and started smacking my ass. And I don't know what to do about it. I've told him multiple times, if he doesn't trust me, like, we need to break up because that's not a relationship that I want to be in. And he says he does trust me and he doesn't want to break up and all this stuff. And otherwise, our relationship is really good. And people always tell us, like, we're the, you know, perfect couple and everything. But this is just something that I don't really know how to handle. So if you have any advice, please let me know. It would be really appreciated. I love you and your show, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
I'm confused at your boyfriend.
Me too.
As somebody who is incredibly jealous and is like, I don't know. I'm not like, I guess I'm pretty prone to holding grudges, but like.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Not pretty prone. You hold grudges.
Okay, cool. Also, in my mind, I'm like, well, it's like not like holding a grudge if the person did something really bad. Like, it's just like a fact.
No,
that, like,
that's holding a grudge.
That's
still.
true. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. Grudge. Okay, you're right. So I am. I shouldn't deny it. Also, all of my friends who are listening to this would be like, are you kidding? Kind of.
See, I called her out on this shit.
Yeah, she does. This is what we're here for. But I'd say, like, even as somebody who would be more along the lines of your boyfriend in the situation, I don't fully understand his stance. And I think the biggest issue here is the fact that you guys are both really drunk. So
I think it's that she didn't tell the other guy to stop.
But she was drunk and didn't even know who like, it could have been your boyfriend. But I think the issue is like when there's an argument happens when two people are drunk, no two people are ever the exact same amount of drunk at the same time. So for him, he might have been a little more sober. It might have been like from the way that he's drunk. He's so drunk that from the way he's looking, there's no way you couldn't know that this guy was behind you. And like, you couldn't see who it, like, there's no way that you wouldn't know who it is, that it's some random. And you're so drunk, you're just assuming it's him, or he's more sober and is looking and thinking that you are more as sober as he is and all of that. Or he was really fucking drunk and like doesn't really like, you know what, like, you know, when you are like, if you've heard it, like when you are really, really angry in your dream at someone, then you wake up and the whole next day you're like, I'm fucking mad.
Doesn't that happen to you a lot?
Yeah, it does happen to me a lot. And I have to be like, Mons, I'm mad at you. And he's like, what did I do? And I'm like, there was a snake and you fed it. And he's like, that was a dream. And I'm like, okay, you're right. But like, there's
It's a
something about like
snake
when
and you stuck it up.
you stuck it up my pussy. But like when you're angry with someone, and you just wake up angry and you know you're mad about something, and he was drunk, so he might not necessarily remember everything, but he was mad, and so that emotion has like filled in the blanks of his memory, and he's created something worse.
That's what I was gonna say. Or it was worse. Like he saw it as something way worse than it was.
And I don't know if you guys have had like a very like open conversation about like, if you like saying for you being like, I'm telling you as like honestly, like being 100% honest, like I don't remember, this is what I remember happening. And if he remembers happening something different, like if your stories don't add up, I don't know if you just immediately the day after went into this fight and you're both like standing your ground, defending your own actions. Because I think like I agree that he definitely shouldn't have like talked to you that way and like been an asshole. And I don't want to like give him like a pass because he was drunk. But like alcohol fuels every argument. It fuels every emotion. If you're like a little sad, you're going to be fucking hysterically crying. Like it's a downer. Like that's what happens. And so I think both of you probably just have like a really negative feeling and a very like hurt feeling about that. Cause like he felt hurt because he assumed that you saw what was happening and you let it happen. And you felt hurt because he thought that about you and that he yelled at you. So you're both coming from these places of pride and hurt. And I think if you both can be like, it was a drunk night, we both fucked up and like we're both hurting and neither of us want to hurt each other. No one needs to be right. No one wins if we're right either. It's a situation that happened that neither of us enjoyed. So let's both agree on that. And I think the way he's using it right now of like, oh, he's over it and it's okay and it's fine. Like, and he's just like bringing it up every so often. It's a little manipulative.
It's definitely manipulative
in the sense that like, it's like he's holding it above your head. You don't even know what happened and you guys should be over it. There are certain things that like instill trust issues and something that couples need to work through for the rest of their relationship. You getting your ass smacked by a guy that you just assumed was like your boyfriend or your friend or like,
or you don't even remember what happened.
Yeah. Just this idea, like him using it as a like to manipulate you and like anything like that. I think like if he's really like genuinely hurt by it, these just, I don't know, not to be a fucking asshole, but like that's what he has trust issues from. Like, bitch, like come on. Like,
is there something else going on?
And that's what I'm like, is there another issue that you guys are having that he's using this? Is there something, and I say this like I've been in relationships before where like when I would bring up issues, I'd have partners like bring up like the one thing that I did bad like forever ago. And I'm like, do you not like it when I confront you with an issue that I'm having that you need to make sure that like I also feel shitty? So I don't know if like how you guys communicate with like your other issues and things like that. But I would say I agree with you in the sense that like if there is like if you saying like, well, if you don't trust me, you shouldn't be in a relationship with me. I would say, which is the thing that I say to everybody now, is be like, you know what? I really don't know what else I can do to make you feel like trusted in the situation. It was also a very like bad night for me. I don't remember a lot. We've been over this before. It feels like we're beating a dead horse and we're unable to move on from this on our own. Would you feel, how about we talk to a counselor who can help us figure this out? Because if he's not willing, like if he doesn't want to break up and if he doesn't want to talk to somebody else about it, he just wants you to feel bad every once in a while for no reason, because there's no productivity that comes from that. Like, I'm a huge thing of like, you can't complain about things and you can't bring things up if you don't want to actively change them.
Yeah.
If you don't like
ask him like, what do we need so we can get past this?
Because it's not, we can't go back in time. There's also, both of us are at fault here in the situation. Like no one is right and no one is wrong. We both were drunk and it was stupid. Like the idea that you don't need to apologize for any of that. Like there is no, you don't owe him like this thing that he was also a dick to you in that situation. So you need to be given tools to move past this. And if he's like, there's really nothing to do, then it's like, well, I don't want to live my entire life with once a month you bringing this up all over again. And then that needs to become the choice about breaking up is not in his hands. It needs to be in your hands. Because if he's not going to be able to move past this and like adapt and like grow better in a relationship, then like you need to be like, okay, I'm done, because it's not going to change.
Also, don't drink underage.
Oh, how old is she?
20.
Whoa, girl. But yeah, I think you guys should have that conversation with him. Couples therapy. Also, the amount of times I've recommended couples therapy to people, like whether it's people on DMs or on the podcast, and everyone's always like, my like, usually it's you. I'm just gonna be honest. Every single person has been like a heterosexual couple, and it's always been the girl saying that, and then be like, my like husband or boyfriend won't. I'm like, that's really fucked up. Like that makes me so sad, and that should also be an indicator of someone who like isn't invested in your well-being and your relationship's future well-being. If they're like, no, I don't, like, you want to go to therapy, like us as a couple to figure out like to get better at communicating. No.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of stigma that goes around therapy, and I know like we're in a bubble. We're in a bubble where everyone talks about their mental health issues. Everyone goes to therapy, but there is a lot of stigmatization in other parts of the country.
And
so
it's a toxic masculinity thing, but it just makes me, if there's any straight men listening to this, and if you're or anyone, if like your partner,
I'm guessing if they're straight and listening,
they're listening
to
with their
this, they're
girlfriends.
listening with their
it's like if your partner at any point wants to like go to couples therapy, I think like there's no love you can show greater to someone than like swallowing your pride and being like, you know what, we don't know everything. There's a reason why people go to college for this and go their masters and all of this. That I think that's like the greatest sign of love, is someone who's like willing to do something like that. So I think it's a really great thing. And also we've had a lot of people who've called in and said like their significant others are going to therapy, which I think is great. Pro therapy. I wear it on a shirt. We do like the Juicy Couture sweatpants. It just says therapy on the butt.
On the ass.
That is ass therapy. Is it time for?
Don't blame them.
We're not going to blame you.
No.
Other people might, but hey, not us. We're the ones with the headphones and the microphones. So I feel like it's weird explaining it. Do you guys I'm explaining to you guys, not Melissa, because you know. But now we're going to play one of your calls with your own personal advice from a previous episode. And what episode is it?
This is from the episode with Elle Mills.
Okay.
So this is the original caller. The original caller, she was having sex at her boyfriend's house, and the brother walked in on them.
Yeah, and it got weird as fuck.
And so this is someone calling in with similar experience.
Everyone needs to have sex in cars. If you're having sex when parents are home, have sex in a car, have sex in a car, have sex outside. In a backyard.
In the park.
No, because they no, you get arrested for that.
Not if you don't get caught.
Yeah, but they got caught in a fucking bed in a house. I don't think they're gonna be like subtle. We're not gonna give them wide open spaces. What do you mean? We got caught having sex. I'm just standing in the middle of the woods naked. Oh no! Like, of course we're gonna get fucking caught. Do people have sex at the beach? No, actually,
that's terrible.
No, but think about this. If you have sex at the beach,
experience,
I like that. That's fine. Have sex somewhere where there's no cell reception. So even if
This episode is brought to you by Buffalo Trace Distillery. Powerful yet smooth. Contained but never tame. Proudly going their own way, but never going alone. This is the spirit inside Buffalo Trace Bourbon. Made at Buffalo Trace Distillery, the world's most award-winning distillery. Buffalo Trace is always perfectly untamed. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Franklin County, Kentucky. 90 proof, 45% alcohol by volume. Learn more at buffalotracedistillery.com. Please drink responsibly.
One catches you, then they can't call 911 immediately. Finish your stuff fast, and then by the time the person gets service, like 911, there's some hooligans having sex.
So not only like now you're like the ultimate voyeur because somebody's standing there waiting to get like service while you're getting service.
You have to walk away though. Oh, that's so funny. Just go on top of a cliff, like at the end of a hike, and everybody's like, I have to hike all the way fucking back down Runyon before I can call this in. That's a good idea. That's so funny.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm a longtime listener, and I just listened to the podcast with Elle Mills, where the caller was talking about how her boyfriend's brother walked in on them and made it really awkward. I had a similar experience. I've been dating my boyfriend for 1.5 years now, but at about, I think, the 6-month mark, I was home from school, and he's older and lived with his parents still, and no one walked in on us, but we were really drunk one night and had sex in their basement, and his parents heard us. And he got a text message from his mom that night that said, like, just so you know, your dad is a light sleeper. And we thought that would be it. But then the next day, his dad talked to him about it and how we have to be quiet, otherwise I can't stay there anymore. So I just wanted to let the caller know that I feel for them. After that conversation, nothing else happened. It was a quick conversation with his dad, and then we obviously were a lot more quiet. Also, we weren't really as drunk. So I just wanted to let the other caller know that it might take some time, but it'll get better. I would avoid the conversation, honestly, unless the parents or the brother brought it up, just because I think confrontation is awkward, especially with something like that. But if it is brought up, just have a mature conversation, say it won't happen again, and go to your house more if you can. That's what I did. I tried to not go to his parents' house for a little while just to diffuse the tension, but everything's good now. I've been with him for another year, and we live together now, so it is possible to get through it. And don't worry, it's awkward, but everyone has sex. Your parents probably know you're having sex. And yeah, that's just my advice. It'll get better. Have confrontation if you want to, but I don't think it's totally necessary. Hope this helps.
I think the difference here is that the other guy's parents didn't want them having sex at all.
And they somehow scammed their way into having, like, yeah, we sleep in a bed and we don't fuck.
Yeah. And so your parents are okay if you're having, or your boyfriend's parents are okay if you have sex, just as long as you're not loud. That's different.
That's so funny though.
Yeah.
If I had kids, that would be 100% a text I'd send if they're like, just so you know, light sleeper.
I would say light sleeper, use protection.
Yeah. I would just like leave a condom with like a little bow on it, like on the pillows next time. Just be like, there you go. Just like fully embarrass the shit out of them. But yeah, I mean, I think like, I don't know, like we kind of get into these like these times when we're like I don't know, like I don't even want to say like young adults where it's like we're grown-ups, we can do whatever we want. Okay, I like wouldn't even like, I feel weird if like my friend is sleeping over and like Mats and I had sex in our own apartment, like, and like you get to this age where you just like think other people's comfort levels. I am uncomfortable. Even if they're not uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable with the idea of making them uncomfortable. So I think it's there are craftier ways to like get around doing stuff like that. Again,
like the park.
Cars. Don't have sex in a park unless there's not cell reception, and then it takes them a very long time to report it. Whoever sees you. But yeah, you know, like there are like other ways, I think, like that you can like get yours without getting like in trouble. Because also it's that kind of thing, like you don't want to get in, it feels like so like childish to get in trouble when you're an adult. But in reality, like there's only so few things that you could do, but you're still under like your parents' roof and stuff. Like they're like, okay, if we're letting you sleep in the same bed, can you just like not make it super obvious you're fucking? Like you've already scammed them into thinking that you're not having sex. But wow, I think I would still die if someone told me that I wouldn't die if someone told me. I've had like friends be like, I heard you. And I was like, sorry, I don't care. But like the idea that like a grown up adult.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even like I had a roommate and she would have, her and her boyfriend would go at it all the time. And we had just like the wall that my head was against was next to her bedroom. So I would hear them. Like, I know what she sounds like when she's coming.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, like, even just, like, she's, like, she just, like, that was weird enough. Yeah. So I can't imagine, like, even hearing my sister or something. I've never heard that. I just think that would be awkward.
I told you the story about how I was on a top bunk when, just swaying. I was like, I hate this.
I'm on this ride with
I'm
them.
like I'm literally having sex with them. Like I literally know everything. It was so bad. Not fun at all. But yeah. Just I also think about the sense of like you never want to like listen to your roommate have sex or anything like put yourself in that position, would you like want any of that stuff?
Yeah.
But, well, guys, moral of the story, don't get pregnant. Use a condom. Go to therapy. Have sex in parks.
Yeah. Also, don't touch your vagina after you have wet cum on your hand. But
also,
if
I
it's
just
dry,
like the idea that there's just cum, like you keep holding your hand like this, like it's just your fingertips.
It's like that, that
like
emoji.
one serving of cum. Here you go. Like you're like working a diner.
Okay,
like
would
Dick
you
Diner.
rather this?
Well, you scoot like come directly into my hand. But you know what I mean? It's never like a. Are you catching it?
I'm just trying to.
It never ends up in the fucking palm of your hand. That's what I'm saying.
But it has like on my stomach, like if I was
and then if you're like
and then you're like
like let me touch it and stick it in my vagina.
Yeah. But if it's like up this way and it comes out, then it like goes over your hand.
Oh, okay. That's valid. That's valid. If you're not getting a lot of air.
Yeah.
Not a lot of distance.
It's up this way. Like
so it comes
here,
it goes
and then it goes and then it just like a volcano.
Mount Vesuvius erupting, dick eruption on your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you cum on your hand, if there's cum anywhere, don't put it on your hand and then stick your hand in your vagina. Don't put it on anything. Don't put it on an inanimate object and stick it in your vagina. If there's cum, clean the cum.
Just have your hand like this.
Flex your bicep.
You're
honestly,
going to
guys,
the
get a
bathroom.
workout in it.
Go to the bathroom, just wash your hand. So,
turn the lights on when you're
make
washing
sure it's
yourself in
hot
the bathroom
water.
too. Like if you like are cleaning yourself from
like if it's like on your neck or something
from necking. Turn the lights on so you know where you're getting. And hey, enlist your partner to help. Also, if you're
it's a group effort.
Also, if you're with
from
a guy
start to
who's
finish.
immediately has like come on some part of your body and isn't like, here, let me help you, and is like, you got this, right? And you're like lying there naked, just being like, I can't really move. Like that's fucked up. Like they should be bringing you a warm, wet washcloth.
Yes,
and then still like wash your face or like wash whatever you need to wash. You know,
if it's on your face, like rub it in a little bit.
Give
Give yourself a little facial.
mask. I feel like that'd be really
because then it'll dry and then you won't get pregnant because it's dead.
Perfect. And then you can wash it off. So truth, just let the cum dry. Don't move. It's like a crime scene. You are a dead body. Don't move until all the cum is dried, no matter how many days it takes.
I'm choking.
And then you can clean it up then. We're really not making fun of you.
No.
It's just
I've been afraid too.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, I literally got afraid like a couple weeks ago, and both Aislinn and Sydney were like, well, in movies sometimes girls get pregnant that way. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
But it does happen in real life.
Yeah.
It would have to be the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Like I just looked at my ovulation calendar on May 16th. That would be the day to get pregnant.
That you would get pregnant.
Yeah.
Stay inside. Close your legs and stay indoors. Don't let anyone know that this is the day they can impregnate you. It's a flashing neon sign. I am so fertile. I am so fertile. Oh, it's so funny. I wonder when I'm fertile. My whole cycle has changed because this fucking birth
you
control.
can't. You don't know.
I don't know. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, our links are in the description and in the show notes. Is that what we call them on the podcast? Yeah. So if you are listening to it, you can check it out there.
That's Megan Rinks, in case you didn't know. I mean, her name's
Melissa.
in the title.
It's true. I was like, I feel like if you can't tell us apart by now. But if you guys, our socials will be listed down below. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram at Don't Blah Meme Pod. You can send us
It's
DM.
Don't Blah Meme Pod.
Don't Blah Meme Pod.
Yeah.
If you guys want to send us messages there, if you like want to give us like a visual aid to, I don't know.
Oh, be careful with that.
Don't give me a dick.
Be careful with that.
No, in like it wouldn't apply for this one. But if you're like, I don't know why it would apply. But like, if you want to like,
I don't want to see cum. That's what I don't want to see.
Ew, you're right. I don't want to see cum either. If you guys want to watch the video version, if you're listening to the audio version, go head over to YouTube. And if you are watching the video version and you are not subscribed to our podcast, what are you doing? Go subscribe.
Do it.
And so many of you have been asking, when are we getting on Spotify? We're on Spotify.
We've been on Spotify.
We're also on Stitcher, and we're also on SoundCloud and the Apple Podcast app. So subscribe
and Google
there.
Play.
Oh, yeah, that one too. We're us
everywhere.
We're literally everywhere. When you go to sleep at night, we're there. When you wake up in the morning, we're there. And we're watching you. It's like, you're like the creepy, like Santa. Still like, it's like demons and Santa are the only people who are like constantly watching you. People who hate you and Santa. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to leave us a voicemail for an upcoming episode, give us a call at 310-694-0976. And if you're an international listener, you can send us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And if you are somebody who called in for another episode and we've answered you, give you advice and anything like that, and you want to give us updates, yeah, call us. We'd love to hear updates.
They're on the bonus app.
Get it. It's a good time. Stitcher. We love it. It's fun. You can hear a lot more of us rambling, talking. If you ever care about
if we thought it was a little too risque for the main show.
FYI, it's remarkable that there are things that are too risque for the main show. But then we're like, but we're so funny. And so then we do the bonus app. Because we can't clean up our act. We just have to like put it behind a paywall. And being like, well, if you want the really dirty, like weird, crazy shit, like you can have it. You just have to like make sure you're cool and you're not gonna like, rat us out.
Yeah. Or like troll us in the comments.
Exactly. Like if you're gonna like be a square, like fuck off. Like this is for people who like are also like weird and fucked up like us. So it's a good time. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. Production assistance by Julie Carley, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.